Welcome back, guys, for another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing WrestleMania 31, which just finished just over an hour and a half ago. As you can see, I've got bags under my eyes because I've been watching since 6:30 this morning. I actually set my alarm for 8 when the pre-show was going to start, but I was too damn excited. And I didn't realise they were actually doing pre-show stuff on the network. So that was really cool. So I just want to start off by saying this will have spoilers. I tried to do a spoiler-free review for Royal Rumble, and you just can't go into depth, so screw it. If you don't want to watch, stop now, because there is spoilers. And I'll start off by saying that it's been awesome, especially being here in Australia, to finally have the network, because for WrestleMania, the network's really helped with, behind the scenes stuff and basically all the access footage, showing the whole WrestleMania weekend. So it's become more of a spectacle for, I guess, us viewers who don't live in the States. So that's really awesome, and that kicked off probably Friday night. Then last night we had the WWE Hall of Fame. That was amazing. Love hearing all the stories, and a special shout out to Conor the Crusher getting the first ever Warrior Award. Definitely deserves that, and damn, that was some sad stuff. But yeah, it was an amazing night. So we had that yesterday, and then today we had the actual event. So it started off with the pre-show, and it was actually a 2-hour pre-show. So the first hour you got one match, and the second hour you got another one, and then there was lots of promos leading up to basically show off some of the matches. So the first match that kicked off was Tyson Kidd and Cesaro defending their championships against New Day, Los Matadors, and the Usos. God, I just forgot them. Sorry, I'm in love with Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. Those two are freaking amazing. So as far as I'm concerned, no one can stand up to them. So basically the match was, it was actually really good. A lot of people think pre-show matches are just going to be TV quality matches, but they brought their A games. There was a lot of cool spots. There was a double suplex power bomb. It was insane. It involved 5 people. There was a lot of high spots, and everyone showed their A game. The weird thing is they knocked out one of the Usos at the start of the match, so it was pretty much one Uso for the whole of the match competing for his team. They did involve Trinity and Natalia and what's his name? That little Minotaur dude, El Torito. That's it. So it was fun. It was really good, and of course the best team won, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. I mean, taking the championship off them when they're just gaining momentum would be really stupid. But it helped to solidify them as a team, so it was really good. So next match came on the second hour of the pre-show, and that one was the Andre the Giant Battle... stuffed up there. Andre the Giant Battle Memorial. I guess, yeah. God, I'm so tongue-tied. But anyway, there was lots of stars in there. A lot of the undercard stars, a couple of mid-card stars. Everyone seemed to think Ryback was going to win, and I was like, oh, please don't win. I mean, he's not anything too crash hot. I mean, the crowd just chants, "Feed me more," because they just want to chant something. So of course everyone wanted Damien Mizdow to win the whole thing, and he damn near came close. It was really good. He finally broke up with The Miz, if you want to call it that. He threw Miz straight over the top rope, and then I was like, oh, that's awesome. But then Miz tried to get up, knocked him back down. Miz tried to get up again, knocked him back down. And then he nearly actually got Big Show out, and so he really gained some momentum that he needs. Now, whether or not they're actually going to do anything with that, that's to be seen, but I hope they do. It's just going to be weird, because now he's popular at being Damien Mizdow, and I don't think you can really keep Mizdow as his name if he's not with The Miz. So he's going to have a little overhaul. Also his appearance, because he's wearing Miz's trunks, pretty much. So Big Show ended up winning that, which, a lot of people complain that they wanted Mizdow to win, and I wanted Mizdow to win, but you've only got one other true giant, that can compare to Andre the Giant, and that is Big Show, and although we might think he's boring and stale, I mean, he's been doing this for years. You know, it's something bittersweet, I guess, to him to win that, and you know, that classic pose he did at the end where he's just like this, you know, standing next to the statue. It was a great moment. So yeah, I was happy with that. So pre-show was good, started off good. So I was like, oh, hopefully the main card can keep up with that. So the main card started, and the first match was friggin' amazing. The first match was the 7-man ladder match for the Intercontinental title. I'll just say this, anyone could have won that match, and I'd be happy, except maybe for R-Truth. The only reason for that is R-Truth had no momentum going into it. What, he stole the title and ran off and then gave it to people? That's not momentum. Like, what's he been doing before that? He's been, you know, pretty average. Luke Harper, amazing. Dolph Ziggler, friggin' the best. Daniel Bryan, again, the best. Dean Ambrose, another friggin' amazing competitor. Who else was in there? Sorry, I'm just obviously stating my favourites that I wanted to win, but yes, of course, the champion Bad News Barrett. Even if he won, I would have been excited about that too. But it came down to Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler, and I was thinking, oh God, I want either one to win. But Daniel Bryan did end up winning, and you know, it's the smart pick. You got a guy who just won the title, the world title at the last WrestleMania. He's kind of got to win if it's the undercard title. But they're obviously trying to re-establish the title and make it worth something. So you need one of the top guys to do that. And you know, with Dolph's wins over Daniel Bryan and then Dolph just losing, it sort of brings them up to that same level. So hopefully that pushes Dolph. And, you know, Daniel Bryan's already up there. So it was really good. But, again, that match, amazing spots. I did think it went a little bit too short. I would have liked a bit more from that match. But, you know, it's a crazy match. I mean, Dean Ambrose just takes the cake. He freaking done his diving elbow drop on top of people off a ladder. And Luke Harper just annihilated him and freaking powerbombed him through a giant ladder and looked like he nearly killed him. So that was just, that was something else, that match. And then it was followed up by, I believe it was Rollins versus Randy Orton. I think that was the next one. No. Am I missing something? I'm confused now. But either way, I'll go through all the matches anyway. So let's go with Orton versus Rollins. Awesome match. I mean, I used to love Randy Orton when he first started, but he's just, like Cena, become really stale. I mean, the RKO is an awesome move, but just everything else is just so predictable now. But Seth put on an amazing match. So it was a top quality match, but just nothing really new on the part of Randy Orton, apart from his finisher, which was basically, this is Randy Orton's head. This is Seth Rollins. Goes for the curb stomp, and instead of smashing him down, he throws him off and then RKOs him back down. It was freaking amazing. So that was really cool. And so Randy Orton did win the match. But previous to that, Seth Rollins kicked out of one RKO and Randy Orton kicked out of a curb stomp. So there was that back and forth. So it was a really good match. Then we had Sting versus Triple H. Now, I love Triple H. He's one of my all-time favorites. I wasn't too big on Sting, but I really respect him, and he can go. So that was the first thing I think people were worried about. Could he still go? And you bet your ass he could. That match, it was good seeing Sting, you know, do what he does best, but it was more just a highlight reel. Because as the match progressed, DX, so you had X-Pac, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg come out to try and save Triple H. And then, to everyone's surprise, this was awesome, you had the original NWO, Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash come out to support Sting. That was a bit weird, because Hall and Nash are best friends with Triple H, so I guess people were like, are they going to hit Sting as well? And considering their feud. But no, it was cool. It was like WCW versus WWF in their Attitude Eras. They evened it out, and he brought out the sledgehammer, and then Sting got the bat, and he smashed the sledgehammer in half, so it was awesome. And then HB Shizzle came out and freaking super kicked Sting right in the face when he was doing the Scorpion Deathlock, and everyone thought that was over, but no, it wasn't. It kept going. So I didn't know who I wanted to win. I thought Triple H sort of had to win because, you know, it's the WWE. Where was Sting all those years? You know, like, he was in TNA. Like, why would he come to WrestleMania, his first main match on WWE, and win? Like, that's kind of like a blow to the system for WWE. But at the same time, you don't want Triple H to just come in and bury him, you know, like pretty much what everyone thinks he does. And he does do that to some people, but, you know, if you're that good, you're not going to get buried anyway. Anyway, so the way they made the finish, which wasn't the best, but it seemed the only way that you could really do it, was Sting went for another Stinger Splash after, you know, a kick out of the Scorpion Death Drop, a kick out of a pedigree, you know, getting super kicked from Shawn Michaels while he was given the Scorpion Deathlock. So he went for a Stinger Splash, he hit that on Triple H, and as he went for a second one, Triple H got a piece of the broken sledgehammer and whacked Sting right in the head and pinned him that way. So it was a typical heel move, you know, use a weapon, and it was a no DQ, so it wasn't like he cheated, but I felt it was a good way to basically, you know, say Sting is of equal quality to me, but, you know, we're not going to just bury him by making him lose to a pedigree. So I thought that was really good. Okay, we did have a Divas match, and a lot of people are not big fans of the Divas matches, so, I mean, I love Paige and I love AJ and they're amazing. No, not a big fan at all of the Bellas. So I wasn't really expecting much, and I don't understand why it was a women's tag match and not a women's championship match, or Divas title as you call it. There was a few little good spots, but there was a lot of botching still. There was one particular part where AJ tried to do a reverse DDT, like a reversal DDT onto, I think it was Nikki Bella. And I don't know if it was Nikki's fault, she didn't swing around enough, or if AJ just got caught, but it just looked terrible, and it was definitely not WrestleMania quality. It just sort of felt like filler, and that's disappointing, because, I mean, if you watch NXT, they're friggin' some of the best matches, the women's matches. So I was a bit disappointed in that. Also disappointed that we didn't have in the pre-show an NXT match, because that would have been amazing. But what can you do? But Kenta, Hideo Itami, was in the Battle Royal, and he did have a little bit of a spot in there, but, you know, he got eliminated like everyone else. So yeah, not much to say about the Divas match. I mean, friggin' Paige looked friggin' gorgeous, so that's all I can say about that. Then what did we have? We had Bray Wyatt also versus The Undertaker. Now, before that happened, we had this really long promo with Triple H and Steph coming out and talking, and, you know, thanking everyone, saying the attendance record, blah, 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 and then, you know, going back into heel character just after Triple H shook Sting's hand at the end of their match. So it kind of went, okay, I respect you, I'm a good guy, but now I'm just going to attack you, and, like, basically make fun of you, which he did. He was like, oh, I pinned Sting, you know, blah, blah, blah. So it was kind of a weird thing to come out and do. But, you know, they still needed to retain their heel status. So anyway, The Rock comes out, everyone goes nuts, and they just wasted so much time of just letting the crowd cheer. And I mean, that's good for people there, but when you're watching at home, you're just like, come on, get on with it. And, I was just like, what is this happening? Like, what is happening? And it's obviously leading to a feud either at the next WrestleMania with Triple H versus The Rock, or maybe at SummerSlam or something down the line. But then Steph got in on it and basically told The Rock to leave. And he walks out to the crowd and he's standing at the barricade, and everyone had seen Ronda Rousey with the 4 horsewomen standing there at ringside. And I was like, no way, she's not going to do it. and he friggin' brought Ronda Rousey into the ring, and the place just went nuts. And she had to stare down with Steph, and I was just like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And they actually gave Ronda the mic, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I didn't think this was, like, legally allowed to happen with the UFC and her contract. She must have an open contract to do whatever she wants, or maybe it's classed as promo for Fast and Furious 7 because The Rock and her are both in that. But either way, he gave her the mic, and, you know, she nails it. She nails it every time. Like, she's the best UFC women's fighter, or just female fighter in general. But she's also really good on the mic, and a lot of the divas aren't. So it was really good. And as you know, Steph is amazing on the mic. So they had a little bit of a back and forward, and The Rock then started, you know, beating up Triple H, and then Steph went to slap Ronda, and Ronda blocked it, got her in a bit of an arm lock. She took down Triple H as well. And then, yeah, it was just some cheers. So hopefully that leads to Triple H facing The Rock, and then Steph facing Ronda Rousey at some point. If it's a tag match, that's going to suck. I want to see two separate epic matches, because Steph can go. And Ronda, you know, she's been doing judo her whole life, and that contains a lot of throws and stuff like that. So she'd be perfect. So yeah, Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker. I felt that it got cut short. Because they pretty much had 1 hour left as that promo with The Rock and that ended. And it was a bit worrying. Bray Wyatt came out to an awesome entrance, but it was so weird. It's daylight, and it was supposed to be dark and creepy, but it was daylight. It wasn't dark and creepy. It didn't have the effect they were going for. But it was still cool nonetheless. But The Undertaker's entrance was just nothing compared to what it's always been. I mean, he just pretty much walked out. There's a couple of flames, nothing extravagant. Some dude ran in front of the camera. He's getting fired for sure. Yeah, it was just not that great of an entrance. But regardless, you know, Undertaker's got a bit of hair back, which is funny. The match was good, but it was really quick. You know, a couple of kickouts. Bray kicked out of a tombstone, Undertaker kicked out of Sister Abigail. You know, a bit of back and forward. Undertaker looked dead. Like, he literally looked like he couldn't go on. Whether or not that's just him selling, looking like he's really debilitated because trying to sort of elevate Bray Wyatt, or whether or not that's him, like, just gassing out. It was hard to tell. If it's him trying to elevate Bray, it worked, because it made Undertaker look completely dead. Like he had no energy, so he was selling good if that was the case. But if not, kind of makes you wonder, like, we want to see Sting versus The Undertaker, and it's risky because, you know, what if they can't do it? What if they're both injured before next year's WrestleMania? Then what? You know, what a missed opportunity. So Undertaker did win, but it wasn't that extravagant. It was just like a normal match. And I didn't see Bray winning, you know, regardless, because what's that going to do for Undertaker's career, or Bray's? I mean, it will elevate Bray, but, you know, he's already had that first loss, Taker, so you can't really top that. So yeah, it was a bit disappointing. And then the thing is, everyone after Undertaker wins his match, or if he loses, you know, they show the whole walkout, and he usually gets on the stage, does the arm raise, looks back at the camera. They did none of that. As soon as he got through the rope, bang, cut to a promo. And I thought, damn, that's rushed. I mean, when does that happen? Undertaker's matches are supposed to be epic, and they cut it short. Didn't like that. But then again, I mean, they were trying to go for time. But they did have the main event up next, which, to my surprise, was pretty awesome. Roman Reigns had a decent entrance. Brock had a pretty epic entrance, lots of fireworks and stuff like that. And yeah, it was freaking awesome, because it was, as Brock put it, Suplex City, bitch. He just suplexed the shit out of Roman Reigns. But it wasn't just about 17 German suplexes. He did a standard suplex, he did a fisherman suplex, he did a belly to back suplex, German suplex. So he did a whole bunch of suplexes. He got cut open, so there was blood, which makes it more epic. and it looked like he got that little cut just under his eye from a punch from Roman Reigns. But it was good because Roman Reigns pretty much had no offense. He did nothing. He just got annihilated. And towards the end, Roman Reigns slammed Brock into the ring post, and he just busted open, just blood everywhere. Hit him with, I think it was 3 Superman punches finally to knock Brock down. Then he gave him 2 spears, and then he was just dead because he'd taken a beating. He'd taken, I think it was 2 F5s. He actually kicked out of 2 F5s. I was like, that's a bit weird because, you know, don't really want Roman Reigns to be seen as better than The Undertaker. Or even John Cena. Like, I'm not a fan of John Cena, but I respect him and he's been doing this for years. And if he got annihilated by Brock Lesnar, then it's only fitting that Roman does, because Roman has hardly any experience compared to him. But the Savior came out, Seth Rollins came out, and in a surprise he cashed in and made it a triple threat match. I always thought that either Brock or Roman Reigns was going to win, and then Seth was going to come out and cash in and then take that victory away from them. It would have been more fitting if Roman won and then Seth came out and cashed in on him. But in saying that, that wouldn't have been a good ending, because, as I said, you can't have Roman Reigns beat the guy who beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. It doesn't make sense. Why would you have The Undertaker, who's on this friggin' 21-0 streak, lose to Brock Lesnar, and then have some rookie guy basically come in and beat Brock? It doesn't make any sense. And then I thought, if Brock won and then Seth came out, again, like, it could work, but I think what they did was better, which was have Seth run in, curb stomp Brock. Then you thought, oh shit, Roman Reigns is going to pin Seth Rollins, and that could have worked. But then luckily it didn't work like that. Seth Rollins got the victory. I was freaking ecstatic. It was amazing. So I reckon the pay-per-view was not perfect, but it was a really good event, and just the whole surrounding, you know, the Hall of Fame and the Access tours and all the pre-shows just hyped it up, so it was really good. And the atmosphere was great. I mean, I like the outdoor events. I just think that if only it got darker towards the last 2 matches, just to create more of that atmosphere. But, you know, you can't control the weather, and it was an outdoor venue, so what are you going to do? So I just want to say, I like Roman Reigns, but I'm not nowhere near his biggest fan. I don't think he's ready for the world title at all. I think maybe he could go for the US or the Intercontinental title. I've actually forgot a match, and I will just go back to that in a sec. But I think, you know, him winning is just, it's weird, because he's elevated too far too soon. Whereas Seth has had, you know, all the previous stuff, being the NXT champion, and he was in Ring of Honor, and what was Roman Reigns doing before? He wasn't big on NXT. So, yeah. Anyway, what I'll say is, although I don't think he's ready, this definitely elevated him, because it not only takes someone to be able to talk on the mic, which he's not the best at, but he's getting better. And it also doesn't just take someone to do moves and be impressive. It also takes someone to sell and take a bump. And he took all those suplexes really well. He made you think that, damn, he was getting annihilated. And yeah, there was no botches. I mean, that's the main thing. You see a move done to someone and it stuffs up, or they land wrong, and it just ruins it. But he took everything perfect, so I really give him credit for that. And I'm just going to make this quick, because my recording device is flashing and going crazy, so in case it cuts out. But this wasn't the last match, I just forgot about it because I don't really care about it. But Rusev versus John Cena. Rusev's entrance was epic. John Cena's was surprisingly dumbed down to other years in the past. Anyway, so that was really cool. Lana's back. She looks freaking gorgeous as always. So yeah, Rusev came out on a tank. That was freaking epic. And they had the flag and the music. It was crazy. This match was basically for America. I mean, as an Australian, it didn't really resonate with me because it was Australia versus Russia. And of course they made John Cena win. And it was more so who's going to stop Rusev, because who's going to stop Russia? So you had to have the most American wrestler, and you know, that's John Cena. So it didn't really do much for me. I would have preferred Rusev to win. But having John Cena win that US title and having Daniel Bryan win the Intercontinental title ultimately just raises those titles up, because then you're going to be like, who the hell is going to beat them? So, didn't care for the match, but definitely is going to elevate that title. So it's really good. So I'm excited now to see Raw tomorrow night, which hopefully is going to be amazing. Might be a few surprises. But thanks for checking out my review. It's a bit of a long one, but you know, I wanted to go into a bit of depth. I could have gone longer, but you know, I don't want to be boring you off for 40 minutes. So please like and subscribe, and share the video if you enjoy it. Yeah, thanks, and stick around. See you guys.